Um, and it's one that, oh, good, Chris is here. It's a green eggs and ham one.
It's so funny when these pop up again because like I'd forgotten that.
I know.
So that's exciting for me.
Exactly. I would probably have forgotten about it if it was like last week, but yeah. Hey, Chris.
Hello.
We
Did
were
you hear
saying,
what-
I just pulled up the one from last June 23rd and it's got green eggs and ham in it. So it must be by you.
Oh. What?
It's a book themed one.
Yeah,
It's kind of fun to go back in the archives.
it is.
We have a lot of golden oldies now.
I mean, just one year they become golden oldies.
I guess.
That's right. Let's see, how many
It's funny how
pages?
much I can't remember.
I have 70 pages of.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Mhm. It is.
Our great
impressive.
writers.
Yep.
We're
Where's
still
Dawn
waiting.
today?
She is with a friend on the Columbia River.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, we have some friends who have a houseboat. So
Oh, those are so cool, aren't they?
yeah, yeah, we've been. Their parents had one, and they just got one this year and renovated it. So I think she was supposed to go on the water today, but her kids, the woman's that she's seeing, their kids need to be picked up, so they're just gonna hang out for an hour. But
Hmm.
she hooks up with her every summer, with her and some other ladies, and they go skiing and tubing and wakeboarding and all that stuff. And
Well, that sounds like fun.
yeah, I'm not really.
Where
into-
is
I'm not into
where
water
on the Columbia
sports.
is her house?
I'm sorry.
Where on the Columbia is her
It's
house?
like 182nd Marine Drive, so it's to the east of Portland,
Okay, yeah, the lady I
east
used
of the
to-
airport. If that means anything to you, Laura. So east of the airport.
Yeah, I've been
So
on
you
one.
kind of know where the airport is. It's east of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to hear so my friend who lives to the west of the airport has had a lot of problems with basically pirates on the river. Have you heard of that, Chris?
Oh, breaking into their houses.
There's like a flotilla of houseless people, but
Oh.
they're obviously they're not houseless because they live on these derelict boats. It's kind of like Mad Max on the water, except not
Wow.
quite.
So it's kind of like the motorhomes we see parked. Maybe you probably don't have this in Lake Oswego, but we have lots of motorhomes parked on the side of the street here. And they don't.
Wow.
They park them and they're up on blocks and they just.
Shit, and that's their house.
Yeah.
Yeah. These people on boats would come out at night and just steal shit off your houseboat dock. But anyway, it was beautiful. I loved her house. I just remember thinking how easy it would be to live somewhere like that. I mean, not easy maintenance wise, easy
Mhm.
psychologically wise.
Yes.
Mhm.
I'm sure the maintenance is a lot.
Yeah, I have no idea. And obviously during storm type, you have to worry about certain things happening and
Yeah.
with the
Wow.
water rising. And I'm trying to remember that if they put up protective barriers to keep like trees from running in their houses and because it's in a community.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
there's
I guess that
probably
would
like
be.
100 house. You know how they're usually like a 50 to 60 houseboats right next to each. They're not really
Yeah.
houseboats. They're houses on the water.
Yeah,
Some of them are like mansions on the water.
yeah.
So they
Yeah.
don't actually go out. You can't.
No, they're not. They're just floating there on the water. So they're not a
Oh, okay.
houseboat that you motor away with.
Okay. That's why I was wondering how you like
Yeah.
skied and stuff. I was like, what?
No, so they
Houseboat
have.
doesn't go
they're-
that fast.
So they're
That's
so
funny.
they're basically they have a garage. Instead of parking their cars, they park their
They're
ski
boats. Yeah. Just like you would if you had a cottage lakeside.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but it actually these go underneath their house and they shut it down. You know, probably based on what Dana's saying, they try to keep everything well protected from weather, but also from
Right.
these pirates.
Well, that is a pretty big house if they've got a garage that a boat fits in, that a speedboat fits in.
Yeah, I've only been to the parents. I haven't been to theirs. I'm assuming to be similar because they're all in the same kind of community.
Mhm.
It's 3 floors.
Yeah,
Whoa.
So you have where you go in your ground floor, if you want to call it, your water level has the boat docking, and then there's like like a little ground floor, and then the main stuff is on the second floor, the kitchen and all that, and then the third floor is some extra room and, you know, a deck to look out, and, you know, you can jump into
Yeah.
the river from there and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
And so you like rent the riverfront or you purchase it?
I think, I'm not really sure. I know they have to pay taxes, but I don't know what it, I think it's, I don't know if they pay for that water space or they just pay property taxes. I'm not sure. I
Right,
think,
right.
I'm not sure about that.
Right.
Isn't that interesting?
But there's
There's no
obviously,
way you can-
yeah, it is interesting because it's, yeah, I know there was some, there was some, I can't remember, there was stories about, you know, people getting upset because they were being taxed and like, well, who owns the water? Nobody owns the water, do they?
Yeah, I seem to remember hearing something like that too. Yeah, it's a way to
But
get money.
they're all, the ones that are in are gated, so you have to get a code to get in, so nobody can just drive in there and, you know, walk down and hang out on your dock. So I'm sure there's like a gated community, there's probably a fee.
Right. Like an
Oh, yeah, I
HOA
bet
kind
your
of fee.
HOA is steep.
But I mean, in a way it makes sense because, I mean, you have access to the river there and
Then I always have to think about sewage. What do they do with sewage?
Pump
Just
it
like an
into-
RV?
well, you just
Oh, I
don't,
bet it's
the
septic
river's
tank.
right there.
Right, exactly. That's what my worry is.
No,
Yeah.
I think they're not doing that anymore. Maybe the pirates are. I'm sure the pirates are
Oh,
just
God.
dumping it into the water.
Mhm.
Ugh.
Not that it's gonna make Portland water that much dirtier. I mean, it wasn't that many years ago. Every time we had a lot of rain, you just see raw sewage pumping out.
I
into the
know,
Willamette.
right? That's why they built that giant shit tunnel. It took
Yeah.
them forever to do that
And that,
downtown.
when did they finish that? What, 10 years ago of that?
What,
I don't think
they
it's
built
even
a
been
shit
that
tunnel?
So basically, when I moved here, and I was flabbergasted when I saw it.
Because I've
is
seen a
that-
lot of shitty rivers in my day, but none in the United States that I know
It's-
of.
Well,
or that I
it's a
can
Superfund
recall.
site. One of the reasons
Yeah,
because of
there's
that.
the Superfund site and then there's so what would happen is the sewage system was just so old that when we would get massive amounts of rain, it would overwhelm the sewage system with
Right.
rainwater, which would just flush all this shit out into the Willamette. I'm laughing, it's not funny.
No, it was disturbing. The
was
first time I saw it, I'm like, you
disgusting.
could see the brown, I mean,
Shit, yeah.
it's a different color.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's
I mean,
disgusting.
It's like it's still 1890 and the waterfront hasn't been rebuilt, you know, there's
Yeah.
schooners.
Did it actually get into like people's houses and storefronts and stuff, or it was
I
just
don't-
overflow into?
I
There
think
was
it was,
definitely a point where something went down. I have to look it up and see. I remember something gross happening.
I can't even
but
think
yeah,
where that sewage system is. Is it in the Northwest, like an industrial area? It seems like it was over there somewhere.
Yeah, that might have been it. But the big pipe that they put through, they ran it under the river, didn't they? So that they could, I don't know. We're not engineers. We don't care. We just know that there's
Well-
not shit in the streets.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
Chris,
it never
aren't,
got into
aren't
the
you
streets that
actually
I
an
know of.
engineer?
I'm an engineer, but that's just-
Not that kind.
well,
Not a shit
it's not,
engineer.
it's not really interesting. Fix it. Quit pouring poop into the river.
Wow. Yeah. It's supposed to be fairly clean now. I mean, and I guess South Waterfront was where the original Superfund was, like in the 80s, which is
And
great.
then-
'cause it was a
And then
big
where I
pro-
worked at Swan Island there was one of the sites there was a couple companies, because they were just burying 50-gallon barrels of chemicals underground. They just buried them and left. Companies not even exist anymore.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
And
right on the riverfront. But
Yeah.
I mean, you think of Louisiana, and they're still doing that kind of stuff down there. And
Yeah. Oh my
I
God. I was talking to my friend Gresham when we were camping about, so I think she's gonna house sit for me when I go to New Orleans for my niece's wedding in October. And she's like, think of all of the great seafood you're gonna be able to eat, you know, just fresh off the boat. And I was like, wait, Deepwater Horizon, do I really want to eat that shrimp? Do I? I mean, yeah, I just grew up with Gulf of Mexico seafood that was clean and beautiful and like 1960s style.
but was it?
But was it?
But was it?
So,
Yeah, I read this book and it's funny, they were just talking about these people that live on these bayous and whatnot, and they would fish in the 50s and 60s, and when the chemical plants were getting big, and they, guys like I worked for them, they said, well, just go dump this stuff. And he was like, it was my job, and I would go dump big, 1,000-gallon tank of stuff right into the water.
Wow.
And 5 years, nothing was living in the bayou. And he's like, yeah, it's your job. He's like, conflicting interests. I'm like, that would have been, I don't know. I guess if I had 5 kids or a bunch of kids,
Yeah.
what would you do? But
Poverty level there is pretty, it's pretty noticeable, and
Mhm.
it's everywhere.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, now the bayou's filled with carpet pythons, right? No, that's Florida. Sorry, wrong bayou.
yeah,
Florida's filled with all the good stuff.
yes. They actually, you can get paid. When we were there, we went and did an Everglades tour, this local guide, and he took us back to some alligator holes.
Mhm.
And it was kind of cool. I mean, you're walking through 2-3 feet of water, and he was comfortable with it. We're a little bit, and then you come to this pond, and when we come to one of them, you hear, boosh, and I'm like, it's like, you're all right.
Them like jumping off the logs.
You
into
could
the
just hear
water?
them. Yeah, they submerged.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, usually there's more, but if the water was kind of high that year, they weren't all congregated, but we did see a couple. But he was talking about, as we were leaving, he's like, if I see a python on the road, don't be surprised. I'm gonna run over it
Yeah.
and I'm gonna throw it in the back because I'll get $25 for it. So they have these, whatever it was, $20. So they basically,
Yeah.
it was just trying to get rid of them.
Yeah.
You get $25 for bringing them in?
Yep.
Oh, that's
Because they're that
awesome.
bad. Maybe I just threw a number. I think that might be a different number. They have the same thing in New Zealand. They have what they call stoats, which are like weasels.
Mhm.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
killing all the ground birds. So they were paying people. So that's what the guy was, this one guy, a friend of a friend, he said, he's like, that's basically one of my second jobs. I just go out and hunt stoats. And
I
he
used
makes
to,
enough
when we
money on
lived
it.
in Jakarta, I used to pay the guy, kind of a semi-homeless guy, who like managed my trash for me. Like he was basically like a trash picker.
Mhm.
But I would pay him by the rat that he would get.
Nice.
So I gave him traps, and he would catch with the Havahearts. Were you guys in that conversation about
No.
Havahart?
What is, do tell.
Was he bringing rats from all, before you go to that, was he bringing rats from all over the city? Look, I caught 100.
I know, exactly. I was like, at no point did I have to put like a limit, like, oh, this is breaking the bank, right? I think that he
No.
would just be like, he knew if he needed $5 or whatever, he's like, okay, I can go out and get 10 rats, and that lady will give me $5.
Yeah.
That's pretty
So what-
funny, actually. That's a lucrative idea. I don't know about those pythons though in Florida, and anything that's killing natural wildlife needs to go. Isn't there a reality TV show about that on the History Channel?
Probably.
Right.
Those things can get big. Yeah.
Yes.
They can get so big. We found one in our housing complex in Jakarta that was like longer than the house. It thankfully was not in front of my house. You know how they have like the old Dutch water, basically drainage systems, right?
Mhm.
That weren't covered there. And I don't know, some part, its tail or its head was sticking out, and they, people started pulling on it, and by the time they got it out, it was longer than the whole house, that snake.
Wow.
Yeah, Dawn would have been on the next plane out.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that either. No.
She was happy.
And you were
when-
like, oh, thank goodness that wasn't in my house. It's like 4
Yeah.
houses down.
God, yeah. Ugh. No.
So how was a camping trip? Did you guys talk about it yesterday?
We heard a little bit,
I
but
just-
Dana can say again.
I was really, really pleasantly surprised.
Mhm.
We'd never been to Timothy Lake before, and I think we picked the right campground, definitely got the right number, the right site. Number 12 is the magic number. It was just beautiful. I really did absolutely nothing. I turned my brain off, and all I did was just look at the water. It was so nice not to have to worry about a device or figure out what fucking show you're gonna watch on Netflix. The show is the sky, it's right there.
It was a beautiful weekend too.
Oh, it was absolutely perfect. There was the one day we got a little spooked with a fire on the other side of 26 that,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Mm.
it came on fast too. I mean, I walked back up from the water to get a cup of coffee, and by the time that I was done doing that and farting around and went back down, I was like, oh shit, there's smoke. And then camp hosts came up and paid us a visit, and my friend Gretchen found out that she knows fucking everybody. So she knew, she was friends with the camp hosts' friends that she used to work with at New Seasons. It was hilarious. And yeah, just so nice. The smoke cleared out. I guess they got the fire under control pretty quickly, and it was gorgeous. It's nice to be able to have a breakfast burrito in your kayak. I will say that.
Yep.
Cup of coffee, burrito, and just float. Floating is the best.
Yeah. How are the mosquitoes right there in Timothy Lake?
Not a problem. The first night I put on bug spray, and I didn't have to put bug spray on for the rest of the time I was there.
Good.
Yeah. We arrived, Craig got the scoop from a fisherman that came off the lake, and I guess they had just dumped a gabillion trout into the lake like 2 days before we arrived.
Mhm.
And so just about everybody that was there was fishing, and we are most excited to be doing that next year. I'm going to make reservations again for the same time period and get my fishing license, get my toddler pole out.
Nice.
Yeah. That'll work.
Yeah, so it was beautiful, really beautiful. Have you been there, Chris?
I have not camped on Timothy Lake proper, but we've been to Timothy Lake a number of times. The last time we went up to go camping, everything was full.
Yeah.
Everything's so busy now. One of the other times we just got stuck up at little Clackamas Lake. There's a
Mhm.
campground up in the woods, and that was buggy. And then there's one further up the road. The last time we went, and we got out of the car to see if there was camping sites, and these kids were running around, and they were just covered in welts.
Oh,
It was about the same time from mosquito, because they can be really bad in the mountains.
yeah.
Yeah,
So then we just found some
spot,
place in the woods and camped, and there was nothing. And then we just
That's
hung out.
good.
We just hung out by the lake all day, and then went by to our campsite by ourselves.
Yeah, that's the
Huge
thing
large
with that.
bonfires.
The day use area was large, and
Yeah.
and I can see it would be easy, really easy just to go up for a day and hang out. There was a campground that was on the other side of the lake, and then there was another one that was behind us. I think it's where the horse camp is by Little Clackamas.
Yes.
It's
yeah.
really marshy there, and it's
Yep.
up by North Arm, there's a huge marsh area, and that was one of the reasons when I was actually making the reservations back in January that I started reading some reviews on Muddy Camper and
Mhm.
looking at Google Earth, and when I looked at Google Earth and I saw that marshy area, that was the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, that's going to be a bug fest, and I don't want
Yeah.
that. So yeah, that Oak Fork is the name of the campground that we were at. And as soon as I came home, I ran inside and got online to see if there was anything else available that I might have missed. The only thing that was open was, there are some walk-up sites that are,
Mhm.
if you're not carrying a lot of stuff with you, it's perfect. And then there's dispersed camping too. You just jump on the part of the PCT that
Yes.
runs to the east of the lake and goes
Yep.
around on the east side, and we saw people just across the way. You could see little evidence of campfire, smoke on the water.
Right.
So yeah, and in the morning you'd see them walk by. Really nice little trail system that goes around the lake.
Yep.
Yeah, I give it 2 thumbs up. There are people there with children and old people, but we've decided that it is an age appropriate transitional campground for us.
Wait, what do you classify as old people?
Yeah, I know. I was like,
These were like 70 and above.
Okay.
Gretchen was worried, the people that came in on Sunday evening that were directly across from us, Gretchen was really worried about. The first thing the guy gets out of his giant fucking camper, so big, and starts just cussing like a sailor, and this guy's old and really out of shape. And he's like, fuck these cables, these fucking cables. He's dragging these things around, and Gretchen's like, he's gonna have a heart attack. I'm really worried about him.
I'm
And
worried
then
that
his
he's gonna be a
wife
loud
who-
asshole sitting up
We-
next to me all night. That's what I'm worried
with
about.
this generator running.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Thank God, 10
I mean,
PM. is
I mean,
bedtime.
people can make or break those campsites. I mean, I've been in some
Yeah.
places you're like, really?
I know.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
weren't bad once he got the fucking cables under control, and his wife, who was basically, we're like, Jesus, does she need oxygen? She's like, I mean, just large. Anyway, they
Well,
were,
they're at altitude. They just drove up to 4,000 feet.
yeah. But honestly, it was fine. You
Good.
know, we saw a lot of grandparents fishing with their children during the day, which we thought was charming and adorable. And yeah, it was fine. Everybody was friendly. I was
Yeah.
impressed.
Yeah,
For a
that's what I
camper.
remember. We were up there and the camp host was telling us a lot. He's like, I didn't realize, I mean, a lot of people just go there for the whole week or 10 days, just,
Yeah, we did our loop, you know, your daily constitutional around and, you know, Mrs. Kravitz on everybody and look at their fucking placard. How long are they staying? When are they coming in? And there were people that had been there for a week, and that was when my friend Gretchen and I started saying, I think next time we're staying, that was 4 nights, we're ready to stay a week
Mhm.
Mhm.
easily.
When do they open up the reservations for the next year?
Well, it's 6 months ahead, so sometime in
Mm.
January at 7 AM, I'll be sitting in my bed with my laptop, going to battle to get a spot in June. Yeah, I just time it out, like once a week would get on and look and see, you know,
What
how
was
far out.
available? Yeah.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
it keeps you sane in the wintertime here.
It would be nice to be up there this weekend, I'm sure, camping, even though it'd still be hot, but not as hot as what you dealt with.
Yeah, you know, it was really pleasant on Sunday. When we got back on Monday, we were surprised at how hot it was down here, because it was really nice up there.
Yeah, it wasn't
First
that, I
night
mean,
I
it
was
was, Monday was hotter than Sunday here.
Mm.
Nothing like what we're gonna deal with this weekend.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's the place to be.
Or the coast. This
Yeah, I
week.
think my neighbors are bugging out with their trailer to go to the coast this weekend. They take their kids all the time.
Well, they got lucky if they had a spot. I told Dawn a couple days ago, I went and looked on VRBO and Airbnb just for grins, like, because it's so hot. And there's not one single thing on either one of those sites. Which I'm
Wow.
assuming this time of year, they're probably sold or
Pretty
pretty close to
booked.
sold out anyways.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow. And then Dawn went and looked at a couple hotels that we normally go to. And she's like, they're not just booked now, they're sold out through the summer.
Wow.
Which I'm
And-
guessing, I mean, it's always busy, but I'm sure part of it is based on last year, and, you know, people couldn't do their normal trips. There's probably a lot
Right.
more-
I think everybody's got the travel bug right now, just
Yeah.
getting out. Yeah.
What about camping? Are you guys gonna take a tent and see if you can find anything, or,
This weekend,
yeah?
there won't be anything on the coast. I know those
Wow.
campgrounds are full. I'll probably just pitch a tent in the basement.
Do houses not have air conditioning in Portland?
Most of them don't. We don't have
Yeah.
air. Do you have air,
Mhm.
Dana?
Yeah, we had it put in when I was pregnant with Emily because Peter was afraid I was gonna hurt him in his sleep.
I'm gonna kill somebody. I'm so fucking hot. When was she born?
He put it in, we put it in 97 and then had the unit replaced a couple of years ago. So it was really, honestly, when he started doing his chemo, we were very, very grateful that
you
we
could get
had
the
it.
house cooled off. Yeah.
Yeah, and I made sure that I have a great working relationship with Larry, my
The
my
AC man.
maintenance man. Yeah, my AC man. So it was great. It was good to put it in when we had little kids and I was grouchy. And it was good during menopause when I was grouchy.
I'm seriously thinking about replacing the one we have. We moved in, there's one out back, but it never really worked. So it must have been broken when we moved in. But, you know, you normally don't need it here too often. You know, you might get 2 or 3 days that are super hot and you can just
Mhm.
kind of deal with it. But,
Right.
It's coming.
and we have lots of trees. So for the most part, our house stays cooler than some others, but
Mm.
still.
I don't
100
think
degrees.
it's that expensive if you've got the vents, you know, if you've already got your ducts in place,
Yeah.
you don't have to have ducts run. then it's not that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I think our new unit was $2,500 and it's
Mhm.
sweet. It runs like a knock on wood. She's a baby. I love her. Um, it's much more energy efficient than the original one.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you guys buy window units at all?
No, we haven't. I'd probably just do that.
Yeah.
When I was in Michigan, I slept with window units and I have allergies to those things.
Oh, really?
Probably the sickest I ever got was because it eventually, and especially here, it probably developed mold and whatnot.
Right.
Is that what it was? It was just blowing black mold on you?
I don't know what it was blowing on me, but I went in and the doctor, I seen her, I'm like, yeah, I've been like sick for a month. It's July. And I'm like, this is
Wow.
wrong. I'm in my mid-20s. He's like, eventually we got to the point, she's like, well, I sleep under an air conditioner, or it's right there. So
Yeah.
try turn it off for a week. And I'm like, okay. And it basically I cleared right up.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, she gave me some antibiotics. The only time I've ever taken antibiotics, because I was just like, man, it was bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
You had something going on for sure. There's
Yikes.
gotta
Yeah.
be something modern that they can put in the air conditioners now that don't do that.
yeah,
'Cause
I
I was-
imagine,
I slept under them when I was a kid.
and I imagine, because it's an apartment complex, they never probably took care of those unless they broke. So, if you're
Yeah.
maintaining your own or it's outside, it'd be better. But
Yeah, I was just checking with Emily and Dawson yesterday and they, when they moved into their apartment, I bought a unit for them 2 years ago, I guess. And I guess Dawson got it in the window recently and they've got it all tricked out. They figured it out. I love it. They're like, we've blacked out the windows and because they have west facing windows.
oh yeah,
Bought
and
a
that's
big
what we have to
box
do too. And
fan and
our couple of our windows face the west. Just we got these heavy curtains that block it off.
yeah. So I'm glad to know that they're not gonna be baking in their second floor 1970s apartment.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go to the shopping mall.
Yeah,
You guys are scaring me. I'm coming the week after next.
Well, it should be cool by then. I mean, this is kind of unusual.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
it is very unusual.
Yeah.
It's worrisome. Yeah. Kate's got a little air conditioning unit going on.
Yeah, well, I'll be sitting in front of it.
Did
I remember when
anybody
I
go? I want to know if anybody else went swimming besides Craig.
My friend Gretchen did. Yeah, she gets in every water that we're around. She's a swimmer and
Why, is because the water really cold there or?
actually it was surprisingly warm.
Yeah,
It's a
imagine,
lot
'cause it's-
warmer than the water down the river, 11 miles at Ripplebrook where we camp a lot. That water's fucking freezing and it comes from the same place. I don't get it.
Well, the water you're swimming in there is kind of sitting, so it gets warmed up a little bit.
That's
Right,
true.
versus
And the
like-
dam is on the other side of the lake, so
Yeah.
the dam is sucking water out from deeper in, and we're over in the shallows.
If you would have went out into the middle of the lake and jumped down, it'd have felt cold.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, we just found a little place, little tiny beach on a cove where it wasn't too windy, and she did her thing that she does. Her synchronized swimming leg, that she sticks straight up in the air
Oh,
and.
Uh,
Yeah,
but she's not synchronizing with anybody.
no, she's not. She's just.
she's
one
just
with
showing off to her best
Yeah.
friend.
me. Take my picture. Yeah, I think I'll definitely be jumping in next July, next month. Wow. Yeah, because I was grungy when I got home. I loved it.
Yes, lakes are nice. So you guys are going back up to Timothy Lake next month, or somewhere else?
The 19th, yeah, I have 3 nights on the 19th. I'm regretting not being more aggressive with my booking back in February for that one.
Yeah.
But
Same campsite.
yeah, number 12, Magic 12.
Oh, I didn't realize you'd gotten it another time, Dana.
Well, because so much closed last year, I mean,
Mhm.
everything south of where we were is closed for this season and maybe next if they don't get it all cleaned up. And
Wow.
there's a lot of campgrounds that just straight up burn to the ground.
Right.
I mean, all
That's
they
so
are now
sad. Yeah.
is just a cement loop.
Yeah.
Have you driven up,
So-
have you driven up there since the fire?
I wanted to, 224 is closed past Promontory Park.
Oh,
Yeah,
I did not know that.
and we thought that it was gonna reopen. The ODOT website said August 27th, and then like a week after that, I got an email from recreation.gov that said, sorry, fuck you, your 7 days at Kingfisher are canceled because Highway 224 is closed indefinitely. So,
Wow.
yeah, so I had
'Cause they're
7
still,
nights.
they're still working on the trees and whatnot.
Oh, God, I
Cool.
hope they're working on something in a good, clean way and not, I'm
Dawn
scared
and
to
I
go.
were, Dawn and I were gonna go hiking on Eagle Creek last week, on Wednesday,
Mhm.
that's what we were doing, and so it was open, so we drive up there, they closed it like 2 months ago.
Wow.
Imagine because of springtime, the tree, maybe they'll wash outs and they still need, I'm like, oh, well, I thought it was open.
Yeah, me too.
So it's closed right now, which I imagine Clackamas River, you'll have the same thing the next couple of years because everything's gonna be unstable.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what I think you're right. It's unfortunate. So it's gonna be competitive. We're gonna have to go further afield to find our water. Have you ever been to Lost Lake?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
you-
camping, though. Not camping, though. I would not do
Is
that
it-
at campground.
What, no? I've never been there before.
It seemed really small. It just seemed, I don't know if I would want to camp at Lost Lake. The lake's nice,
And yeah,
but I think Timothy Lake, the water access is better and.
yeah, it is fucking huge too. I wasn't surprised.
Yeah, it's a big lake.
Yeah.
All right,
So
well,
got-
Laurel's probably wants to go now. She's getting tired of hearing about all our lakes out here and rivers.
I know, I'm like, oh, I gotta go walk in my urban park.
And avoid the
Actually,
crow.
But you
And
get to
avoid the
come
crow.
be
The
here
crow
soon.
saw me again the other day. I was walking to the farmer's market and that crow spotted me. I'd been avoiding him. I changed my walking route, but he
Oh.
saw me the other day.
Did he yell
I-
at you?
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was him. I mean, there's a lot of crows in my neighborhood, but I knew it was him because he did the same thing. He like stalked me for a block.
It's
Weird.
weird.
Isn't it? And it was right in the same, it was a block over from where he used to stalk me when I would go, when I hadn't changed my morning routine. And now I just avoid the area.
Yeah, because he's hunting you. He's looking for you.
Well, I mean, yeah, it was, I was kind of joking to my sister. Like I looked out my window one day, there was a crow in the tree in front of my house. And I was a little bit like, he
Oh,
found
no.
me.
That would be weird.
I know that would be really weird. Yeah. Like I don't want him coming knowing where I live.
Yeah, he's
Anyhow.
a crow. Wonder if he has friends or if he's just a loner because he's an asshole.
Yeah, exactly. You must be a loner because he's an asshole.